Level 1. The disappearance. You cease to exist. Your name is Antonio Pistone. The FBI sits you down in a conference room with no windows. They explain what happens next. Your driver's license, your social security number, your tax records, your credit history. Gone. All of it. Scrubbed from the systems that define a person in this country. Your family knows you're alive. Nobody else does. You are 34 years old and you are legally a ghost. They give you a new name. Donnie Lorenzo. They build the identity around you like a set. Tax returns going back 15 years. A work history in construction and trucking. A New Jersey address that actually exists. A criminal record with 2 minor priors. This is your life now. You don't walk into the Mafia. You get pulled in. The FBI places you in a neighborhood. Brooklyn, Carroll Gardens. You rent a small apartment above a dry cleaning shop. You drive a used Cadillac. You wear the right clothes. You frequent the same bar 3 nights a week. You order the same drink. You tip well but not memorably. You let people see you. The cover story is airtight. You supposedly moved product for a crew in Philadelphia that dissolved after a federal indictment. Your FBI handler checks in through dead drops. If someone sees you near a federal building, the whole thing ends before it starts. You repeat the cover story in your head every morning when you wake up. You say your name in the mirror. Donnie Lorenzo. The introduction. Someone notices you. That's the goal. An associate named Sal starts talking to you at the bar. He's not made, not even close. But he knows people and he wants you to know that he knows people. You let him talk. You ask nothing. Asking questions too early marks you immediately. You just listen and nod and buy around. This goes on for 6 weeks. 6 weeks of showing up. 6 weeks of saying very little. 6 weeks of being exactly the kind of man who doesn't need to explain himself. Sal eventually mentions a card game. You show up. You lose on purpose the first night. The second night you win just enough. The third night you meet a man named Carmine. Carmine is connected. You can feel it in the room when he enters. Everyone adjusts slightly, chairs turn, voices lower. He sits across from you. He asks where you're from. You tell him. He nods. He doesn't ask anything else. That's a good sign. Men who ask too many questions are insecure. Carmine is not insecure. The test. They don't trust you yet. They will never fully trust you. That's important to understand. Trust in this world is not granted. It is extended temporarily and withdrawn without warning. Carmine mentions a job, moving something from one location to another. He doesn't say what. You don't ask what. You show up on time with the car they specified. You drive. You deliver. You say nothing. Whatever is in the trunk, you don't look. That matters more than you realize. Curiosity is dangerous here. Competence is currency. You do 3 more jobs like this over the next 2 months. No words, no questions, no mistakes. Your handler is getting nervous. You haven't produced any intelligence yet. You explain that pushing too hard gets people killed. You mean yourself specifically. The FBI wants results. The Mafia wants loyalty. Those 2 things are on different timelines. You are stuck in between. You drive. You wait. You keep your face completely unreadable. The associate. Carmine brings you in closer. You're an associate now, not a member, not maid. Associates are everywhere. They're the labor, but being an associate means you exist inside the structure. You attend dinners, small ones, private rooms in the back of restaurants where the menu never appears. You eat what they eat. You drink what they drink. You laugh when they laugh. You absorb everything. You are a recording device with a face. You start identifying names. Carmine's crew operates under a capo named Russo. Russo is 58 years old and deeply paranoid. He never speaks directly about business. Everything is metaphor, sports, horses, weather. You learn the language. You decode it slowly. You learn that a horse running slow means a deal gone wrong. A good game means a profitable week. You take none of this home in writing. You carry it in your head. Every 3 days you meet your handler at a diner in Staten Island and you speak for exactly 45 minutes. You tell him everything. Then you go back to being Donnie Lorenzo. Russo gives you a territory, a small one. You collect from 3 businesses on a single block. a restaurant, a dry cleaner, a parking lot, protection money. The restaurant owner pays without a word. He's been doing this for years. His hands don't shake anymore. The dry cleaner cries the first time. You feel nothing on the outside. On the inside, you log everything. The amounts, the dates, the names. This is what the FBI needs. This is why you are here. You become reliable. Russo starts calling you directly. He sends you to conversations that matter. You are earning, which means you are trusted with more. Every piece of intelligence you pass to your handler gets documented. Federal prosecutors are building a case file that grows thicker every week. You don't know how long this goes on. Nobody tells you the timeline. You ask once. Your handler says you'll know when it's over. That is not reassuring. You attend a meeting with men you've only heard about by nickname. This is significant. Most associates never get this close. You are sitting in a room with decision makers. These are men who control entire neighborhoods. Men who have federal investigations dedicated entirely to them. You are one of the only people in the building who knows this. You eat your food and say very little. Someone makes a joke. You laugh at the right time. After the meal, a man named Falcone pulls you aside. He says Russo speaks highly of you. He says you're a steady hand. He says that means something. You nod. You go home and your hands shake for an hour. Not from fear, from the realization of how deep you are now. Getting out becomes more complicated with every dinner. Every introduction is a new thread you are connected to. You can't pull one without pulling all of them. Your handler calls an emergency meeting. The format changes. Something shifted in the surveillance. A name came up in a wiretap. Your name. Donnie Lorenzo in a conversation between Russo and someone above Russo. They're checking you. Not because they suspect you specifically. Because they check everyone eventually. This is the part they trained you for. Stay completely still. Make no changes to your routine. Any adjustment reads as awareness. Awareness reads as guilt. You go to the bar that night. You order your drink. You tip the same amount. You drive home at the same time. Inside, you are running every scenario. They will ask questions. Have your answers ready. They will ask people who knew you in Philadelphia. Your cover has contacts there. FBI managed contacts who will confirm everything. You trust the system. You have to trust the system. That is all you have right now. The loyalty test. Russo asks you to sit in on a conversation you shouldn't be part of. Someone inside the crew is suspected of talking to federal agents. The irony is not lost on you. They want you to watch the man. Report anything that looks wrong. You agree. You now have a target painted on another person to remove suspicion from yourself. Your handler tells you this is a known risk of deep cover. Known risk is a clean phrase for a very dirty problem. You monitor the suspected man. His name is Eddie. Eddie drinks too much and talks about his kids constantly. Eddie is not an informant. You tell Russo that Eddie seems clean. Russo seems satisfied. Eddie never knows how close he came to the end. You add this to the case file. Conspiracy, intimidation, obstruction. The charges keep stacking. The prosecutors keep building. You keep going to the bar 3 nights a week. 14 months in and something goes wrong. A federal agent is spotted near your neighborhood, not your handler. A different agent, a surveillance team that got too close. Someone in the crew saw the car. Wrong plates, wrong posture, too clean. Word travels fast in this world. You hear about it the same evening. Everyone hears about it. The temperature in every room you walk into drops 10 degrees. You sleep 3 hours that night. Your handler pulls you for an emergency debrief at 5 in the morning. They determined the surveillance car was unrelated to your operation. Different case, different target. The crew doesn't know that. The crew just knows the feds are close. You spend the next 2 weeks doing nothing, showing up, being visible, being boring. The tension fades slowly. You breathe again. The FBI decides the case is ready. Prosecutors have enough. Enough is a relative word in federal court, but they're confident. They tell you the operation will close in 30 days. You have to keep going for 30 more days without changing anything. 30 days feels like a year when you know the end is coming. You start unconsciously distancing yourself, small things. You cancel a dinner with Carmine citing a stomach problem. You respond to Russo's calls a few minutes slower. You are tired. Not physically. The kind of tired that builds when you've been two people at once for over a year. Your handler notices the change in your debriefs. He tells you to hold the line. You hold the line. On the last day of the 30 days, you have coffee with Russo at his usual spot. He talks about his daughter's wedding. You listen. You leave at noon. You drive to a parking garage in New Jersey. You get out of the car. You get into a different car. You never go back. The indictments come down 6 weeks later. Russo, Carmine, Falcone, and 19 others. RICO charges, conspiracy, extortion, tax fraud. The case file you built over 14 months becomes the spine of the prosecution. You testify behind a screen. Your voice is altered. Your new identity is already prepared. Not Donnie Lorenzo, someone else entirely. A third name, a third life. The trial runs for 4 months. 11 of the 19 defendants take plea deals. The others are convicted. Russo gets 18 years. Carmine gets 12. Falcone, who pulled you aside at that dinner and said you were a steady hand, gets 22. The FBI gives you a commendation that will never be made public. Your handler shakes your hand in a parking lot and tells you that you die, something most people couldn't.